Today we'll be planning week 25 in my bullet journal, which is going to be an experience as I recently managed to hurt my right wrist. I don't yet know what's wrong with it. I'm going to the PT Monday. Right now it's Saturday night, so all I know right now is that my wrist has been hurting for almost 2 weeks, and I have therefore not been able to do much of anything with my right hand. So like the idiot I am, I decided I'm going to do this right-handed and fuck the pain in my wrist because, it's just pain, right? And on that note, please be aware, I curse a lot. I say fuck a lot. If you don't like it, this is not the video you should be watching. This is not the channel you should be watching. I used fuck it punctuation. So let's begin. To start with, I'm going to be setting up 2 trackers on this weekly spread. Most of my weeklies would only have a single tracker, but because I didn't have a weekly last week, owing to not having a hand to draw it with, I kind of didn't do a tracker then, and I'm going to have to shove that tracker into this spread instead, because when I was using a monthly habit tracker, I noticed that I kept forgetting to go back and actually fill it out, so that's when I started using this staggered 4-week tracker, which sits on my weekly and therefore is a little more likely to be noticed, and that sort of worked, but I think I'm probably going to try something new when I move to my next journal, so we'll see how that goes. And in a little bit, we'll see me finding out that you really should be checking your phone memory before you start recording, because otherwise you end up with really awkward holes in your footage. But it is what it is. So now I'm gonna let time-lapse me get on with her thing and finish up those trackers while I talk a little bit about my weekly theme. Weekly themes aren't really something I do every month or even most months, but since June is Pride Month and my overall June theme is Pride, I have decided that my weekly themes will be based on different, more specific Pride flags that apply to my own queer identities. And this week I've gone with the genderqueer Pride flag. Overall, I have a pretty relaxed relationship with gender. Like, I'm not particularly fussed whether people think of me as female or genderqueer. If you round off my gender to female, I'm not going to be mad at you. I still use female pronouns and so on. Basically, my gender identity is more about how I see me than how other people see me. Like, I know what my experience of gender is. I know how I feel about gender. I know how it makes me feel when people make generalizations about men or women around me. All that matters is that, like, after 30 odd years of identifying as female, I finally allowed myself to say, well, you know what? I'm genderqueer. And that fell into place, and that felt right, and that is who I am. For me, that's, I think, the big thing about identity, the important thing, that feeling of, yes, this is me, this portrays who I feel I am. And I'm really glad I found that. And there we go, time-lapse me is done with the trackers and breaking out the Mildliners to do some colors. I'll tell you right now that, honestly, setting up this spread the way I did was probably not a good idea, because my wrist did eventually start hurting, so I'm probably going to suffer for the whole thing tomorrow, but hey, I've been missing doing this. Having my wrist be fucked up has really been a pain in the ass, because there's so much you don't even think about that you can't do when you have a bum wrist and have to rest your dominant hand. Like, I like to draw. I like to write. I can't bloody do that. Or, I mean, I have been writing. I have been writing with my left hand. That's been an experience. Like, my left hand writing has definitely gotten way, way better in the time that, that I've been working on it, which is like a week and a half by now, but it's still not up to where my right hand writing is, and I feel like I can't bloody stay on the line, my kerning is all off, and it's just a pain in the fucking neck. And I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to be dealing with that long term, so I really hope the PT has some magical solution for me or something so I don't have to deal with this for like the next several months. And there we go, that's time-lapse me realizing that she done fucked up, but that's okay. Nothing that can't be fixed. Just have to put things in slightly different places than I first had planned, which honestly is basically the story of my bullet journal life. I've done that a lot. So, like, the pen I'm bringing out here, I don't even know what it is beyond it's a zebra something pen, because, like, I've never seen anyone in the bullet journaling community using it. It's this hard tip, little, very small brush pen thing, and I found it in the bookstore by accident, basically, because it has a purple barrel, and I'm a sucker for purple. So, my brush lettering right now is pretty darn bad. It's really hard to do brush lettering with a wrist brace on, but you know, just keep trucking. It doesn't matter if it's bad, it's still practice. Once I finish this, it's going to be time for my mini calendar, and the reason I keep flipping back and forth so much doing that is because June has some national holidays in it, and it's kind of a thing here. I don't know if any other country does it, but at least here, holidays are typically done in red, at least like bank holidays. So in order to keep track of like when things are going to be closed because it's a fucking national holiday, I feel like I want to do them in red in my mini calendar, but that also means I have to actually keep track of which ones need to be read, and I have really bad memory, so I basically have to flip back and forth to a previous calendar to check it. So when I do my weeklies, I tend to add tasks as I'm setting things up, so unless I'm making a conscious effort to, which I probably should have here, I don't tend to have a distinct before the pen and after the pen. At about this point, I realized that my intent had been to color each of the days of the week in the primary 6 pride flag colors and not just have the little genderqueer flag header thing that I had on my general week-long task things. So I had to find another solution to that, and I actually like this better than what I had planned before and what I've been using previously in the month, so I think I'll keep using this for the rest of my weeklies this month. I guess this is what you'd call a happy accident. So, yay for happy accidents. I have to say that before I did this video, I never realized how much fucking work and how fucking hard it is to do voiceovers. I figured like, yeah, okay, voiceover, it can't be that hard, right? You just look at the video and you talk about the video and what's going on in the video and why you're doing what you're doing. Yeah, no. The original footage for this video actually came with commentary, and I was pretty happy with it. I had a nice chatty vibe going on, which is basically what I like to see when I watch Plan With Me videos. But unfortunately, it turns out that it was almost 2 hours long. I don't want to upload a 2-hour long Plan With Me video, especially since I don't have an established following, and I really doubt someone is going to go, oh, hey, here's this person I've never heard about before. Let's watch them spend the next 2 hours setting up their weekly spread, because that'll be fun. I've got all the time in the world, right? Yeah, no, the only person who'd do that is basically me with a fucked up wrist, because oh my fucking god, I've basically been going, hey YouTube, what are the latest bullet journal videos for the last 2 weeks? This section I'm setting up here, I've chosen to call Check Out. It's something I started adding fairly recently to my weekly spreads, and what it basically is I have a little list of videos or information or whatever that I feel I need to or want to check out and look up. And I've found that keeping that separate from my to-do list helps prevent overwhelm because, like, generally this stuff isn't as urgent as the things on my to-do list. It's just stuff that I'd like to get done. Kind of similarly, when I'm doing my regular weeklies, I actually have a separate section called low priority where I stick things that I don't necessarily want to put off very long, but that I also don't want to push myself to get done immediately. So things like mending clothes, giving the cat a bath, things that aren't urgent, but I don't want to put off indefinitely, which I sort of have a bad habit of doing with my long-term to-do list. So I'd rather not do that with things that actually need to get done in the foreseeable future. Next up, we have a section that I kind of added when I first got back to bullet journaling after my wrist got really bad, where I basically have a list of things I am able to do. So it's more really a list of activities that I'm capable of than an actual list of things that I should be doing or need to get done. It's just things like doing a jigsaw puzzle, write with my left hand, organize my stickers, things that I don't really need my right hand for, or at least not in any like weight bearing or precision capacity. Overall, it's been a really good thing for me to have, and I'm really glad that I set it up. Some things that I previously had on that list in my previous week, I have moved to the to-do list because they are things that happen weekly. So even if it's a thing that, oh, I can do this even though my wrist is fucked up and it's not actually something that's important, it's still something that I do weekly, so it might as well be in the task list. And hey, having it in the task list also lets me feel a little more accomplished because I actually could get something done, so that's a nice bonus. As you can see in the video, I'm now flipping back and referencing a spread near the beginning of my journal. That's my list of recurring tasks, tasks that I need to do every week, every other week, every month, every certain weekday, whatever. And I really recommend having one of those spreads in your journal. It really helps with setting up your weekly and knowing what the hell you want to be adding and not forgetting to add in there. Okay, everything is now set up and we're down to the finishing touches. Butterflies are my secondary June theme, so I decided to put some butterfly stickers here and there and everywhere just to spruce things up. And that's about it. Thanks for coming around and planning with me. If you want to see more content, I'm probably going to get a June plan with me video up sometime in the near future.